Gamers, modern gaming is losing. This came across my table because it is absolutely looting right to where gamers have been shout. Well, I'm gonna first let me repost you because you're absolutely right to where gamers have been shouting the reasons for why U.S. gamers aren't buying video games anymore. New study shows. Study reveals that the majority of game sales are fueled by only 4% of players. In 2025, 63% of U.S. consumers are buying fewer games. That is definitely true. It's wild to believe that games are losing for any other reason. Because let's pull up documentation. I don't know what these numbers are. Let's see. The reason why we're buying less games, according to current metrics, is that modern games that failed. Let's see. Current games that win. I can already list out right here almost immediately Resident Evil Requiem is winning. We have Expedition 33. We have It Takes Two. Monster Hunter still winning. Street Fighter. I guess the same thing as Tekken. Off the top of my dome, Tekken. Okay, Street Fighter, Tekken are popular ones that I can think of immediately. That the Mortal Kombat. But again, the first few the few games that are off the top of my head, off my dome, that games are targeting modern audiences that aren't being bought anymore. Let's think about it, because there are the elusive Concord. There's Highguard that's recently having a problem to where it dropped under 200 concurrent players, allegedly. For a time it was Overwatch, but Overwatch rectified itself. There's also Dragon Age Veilguard. There's also the new Horizon. The new Horizon. What is it? It is the Horizon Night Rain clone. Assassin's Creed. Wait, what is this? Hey, Gia. Assassin's Creed Shadows. How is that doing, actually? Is it still winning? It's on for 50%. Steam charts. Is that the right metric that I'm looking for? 5,000 players are currently playing it. 64 all time. Is that good? Let's compare it to what is it? to look for ongoing and also Assassin's Creed. If this is the right metric. I don't know if I'm looking at the right site actually too. Steam charts. What? Oh, Steam charts DB. That's what I'm looking for. What is it? I'm looking for concurrent players. Is there a way to compare? In-game. Compare. So in terms of all Assassin's Creed current peak, this is all-time peak for Origins was 41k here. Yeah, okay, so let's see. The Assassin's Creed is not doing well, looks like. That's like, again, for whatever reason, that was the first thing that came up to my head in terms of like comparison, so I'm probably baseless on my thinking. Heart and Shadows. Current games that are winning. You know what? Was there a game about immigration? Game about immigration. That one definitely died. It's not City Immigrants, not Papers, Please. What was it? Games about game about what was it? Crossing the border. Game about crossing the border. What was it? It's crossing borders. I don't know. Take Us North. It was Take Us North. That was the one. But anyways, it's really funny to where like the conversation comes from. The point of me lollygagging in this video, I apologize, is that gamers have been telling people for years that we don't want the next Call of Duty. We wanted Titanfall. We wanted Titanfall. We got High Guard instead, and almost like immediately like those people have like fallen off too. But what else was there? Like there was a whole big thing too. There was a whole big thing in terms of the conversation to where most US gamers buy just 2 games a year study finds because they're $70, $80 even. There was an instance to where like something, I think, what was the first $70 hold on, $80 game. That's the first $80 game was Outer Worlds 2 was launched at $80. However, the company faced significant backlash. Outer Worlds thought that they could break the barrier of $80. But the first $70 that people accepted was Demon Souls. Okay. Demon Souls. Okay. And then Nintendo came out with The Legend of Zelda with Tears of the Kingdom in 2023. It got worse from there, in my opinion. Doug Bowser defends price increase. That's right. If I remember correctly, Doug Bowser made the argument that the price of these games is a reflection of their intent to the price in itself is an advertisement for you're getting a quality game from Nintendo. We priced this game to be $70 because we believe in the product. We believe this is worth their $70. And I think to myself, Tears of the Kingdom should not be the one that defends your case. Because for all of the advancements Tears of the Kingdom has done, I've heard that unless I'm wrong, I've heard there's a mass majority of people who say it doesn't change the feeling of it being a an extension of Breath of the Wild, because technically is because if I'm understanding the history correctly, was that there was so much content that was written down for a DLC that they made it into its own full game. So much so that when I watched Lady Lord Tiptoe, when she was covering the story of Tears of the Kingdom, there were 4 or 5 instances to where there was a lot of padding of going to the shrines, doing 4 or 5 repetitive tasks to then go do the thing, and then 4 separate times repeat why this shrine exists when when almost it's to what's the word? What am I trying to figure out? Because it's like it's being repetitive of these story points at the cost of like understanding the intelligence of the gamer. It's almost insulting of the gamer's intelligence that, yeah, no, we understand why these shrines are there. Yeah, no, we know why the shrines are there. Why you're telling me about the shrines? Stop talking about the shrines. It came to that point, right? But anyways, as someone who didn't really stream the content, how would I know, right? I just know that there's been content creators who have had a problem with it. But anyways, a big example of people not buying games anymore is that Pokemon here. that is a very good representation of why people just don't buy games anymore. Allegedly, it's because like the majority of games nowadays are just clones of games from back in the past. Like, if you were to play today's version of an RPG, of JRPG, it's a rehashing of the original bests. People try to grasp the lightning in the bottle that Final Fantasy has done. People constantly try to grasp the lightning in the bottle that Souls-likes have made. So that's why like it becomes a tag of like Souls-like is now a tag on Steam. There are tags like what's the tag for 10 like 10 let me look up Temtem actually. Steam Temtem. It's like I'm looking for a particular tag. Creature collector. Creature collectors are now a tag because of Pokemon. Turn-based combat, Final Fantasy, multiplayer is Monopoly, co-op, Monopoly. There's a handful of people that are just getting tired of these kind of things, right? But again, what can I say? Let's see. Players blame $70 AAA prices, long time playtime. Oh, was it Sea of Thieves? Was it Sea of Thieves that was a flop? Was it Sea of Thieves? Sea of Thieves I believe, was a drop. Is it a smash hit? Wait, what was a pirate game? What am I thinking of? Skull and Bones? Is that what it is? Mixed. What was it? It was mixed, right? Let me see. Recent. I want to see recent. Recently posted. Meh. There's meh. There's I don't mind the beta. Not even worth the 90% discount. Bad, right? Skull and Bones goes on the list, right? Players blame $70 AAA game prices, long play times, economic pressures. Because again, like $70 is a commitment. $70 is like two visits in a month, 2 weeks worth of gas potentially. Like $80 games are like 2 weeks worth of gas. It's crazy. And like or like 2 weeks of groceries if you're lucky. Quality issues. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was a big thing for me in terms of quality issue because it came out garbage. It's a non argument. Like Scarlet and Violet was a garbage game with bugs that came with it. People still gobbled it up. Still, it did its due diligence to being a really fun game to where it made you play three objectives before the true ending, to where you could simply play the game and play the what amounts to that of a Pokemon League. You can also play it to just collect all the Pokemon, but the true ending is when you finish all three primary campaign objectives, right? Still, there are problems with it because, and then when ZA comes, ZA is a pale representation of what Pokemon is capable of because ZA is a smaller scope. It's a smaller scope than that of Scarlet and Violet. Is basically a tournament arc and does almost like really bad mechanics and still bugs. It's really funny to worry how does Pokemon and Game Freak have bugs in their Pokemon games when they did it so well within Arceus? How does that happen in Arceus, right? Sword and Shield I don't know about, but like these are just remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl from like Game Boy days. Remake. New property that I don't know did well. Remake. Banger Arceus. Bomb. Like it came out bug, right? That's wild in this instance. Again, I'm yapping because again, I'm just a tourist, but it's very true that people are currently tired of receiving slop of like bad video games to where they want to backtrack to back in the day where Final Fantasy 6 is still being played to this day, Dragon Quest is still being played to this day, Chrono Trigger is still being played to this day. We have people touching the old games like old Final Fantasy 7 when Final Fantasy Remake was out. We have people touching old Monster Hunter titles when Monster Hunter Wilds came out. We have people touching games and playing games. Sorry, touching is a bad word. We have people playing games that are tried and true nowadays because if you're tired of like the droning of these other games, instead of playing Code Vein, which I don't know why you shouldn't play Code Vein, people are still revisiting Dark Souls, the foundation of Souls-like. People are still wanting Bloodborne, a beloved game title. It's wild. Turning instead to sales free-to-play options like Fortnite. Fortnite is such a banger to where anybody can join, but it's hard to master. Subscription. I am a victim to Game Pass because it gives me access to these things, and I have the desire to play Dead Space. But it also gives me the opportunity to play Hollow Knight. Even though Hollow Knight's $20, you should buy it. People want to throw money at Hollow Knight for more money, and Silksong, but like no, that's what they believe. And indie games have been getting pretty good. Despite complaints, overall spending rose to $60.7 billion in 2025 for development alone, I guess, with a forecast hitting $62.8 billion in 2026. Driven by hot hardware, because it's always funny to where all these games are, the selling point is in the new Unreal Engine. This game is made on the Unreal Engine, but it can only be played on the Switch 2. It can only be played on the newest Rogue Ally. And the big fear that's happening in my head is that the new Pokemon game that's coming out that was advertised with a fire Pokemon Pomeranian, which is cute. The problem is it's most likely going to be pushed onto strictly the Switch 2. Let me even look up. Ooh, that's not what I want. Pokemon Za. And then Nintendo Switch. Is it on the Nintendo Switch or is it on the Switch too? Let's see if it Switch Edition. So, is there a chance? Oh, you can play it on the regular Switch. Because what sells games is game exclusivity, to where even Sony recently, PlayStation recently, is pulling back on, I believe, pushing their game exclusives onto other properties because Microsoft is having a monopoly on having all their games on all platforms. And that's almost an invasion of space that the original kingdoms of Nintendo, PlayStation, and Microsoft have developed. Basically, Microsoft is the Fire Nation that attacked, and they're trying to go into bed with everything else. And it's even funny to where the fact that Blue Point was closed, and it's the gaming industry is really wild. Blue Point closed. We have no news on a Dusk Blood game by Miyazaki. It's a whole thing, right? That's what I think about. But there's a lot of people that I have a lot of tabs open because people talked about it, and I'm rambling so freaking much. Wtphu from Mother's Basement. This came onto my feed as well, to where free to play dominates the market. Was very true. It's a low barrier of entry. It costs nothing out of your pocket. It uses games that it uses the hardware that you have on your phone or what's currently on your console or your computer, and it sells. Having a free to play dominates the market because it's an easy barrier of entry, which is also why Genshin Impact had so much money racked in. Zenless Zone Zero racked in so much money. Wuthering Waves, hell yeah, baby. AAA single player games are obscenely expensive, like $60, $70. It lasts so long, you only need a few per year. And the games that I can think about already are like Donkey Kong, Mario Party, Mario Kart World Tour, the new Mario Party coming out. I don't know what it's called, Jamboree, I think. And most people don't play more than one or two multiplayer games. And exorbitant, all exacerbated by the fact that life is extremely expensive right now. It's very true. In the current, I would say, as a closing point, right? In the current space that is today's like economy, things are so expensive. I just said earlier that $70, $80 is like gas for the normal person for 2 weeks, and that's if all they do is to go to work to go home, go to work to go home, maybe stop at the gym on the way home, but essentially go to work, go home. $80, if you're lucky, is the amount you pay for 2 weeks of gas. People are hoping that $80 pays for a week, maybe 2 weeks of food. Grocery prices are going up. Processed foods are going down, surprisingly, and living right now is currently difficult. So there's a specific reason why people in the U.S. aren't buying games anymore. Heck, even medical insurance is a problem, and we know how that is with the whole Medicare, Medicaid thing. Again, I'm a tourist. I don't know much, but for my particular situation, $10K for medical insurance was a commitment that was projected for 2026. $10K is a huge commitment that I myself didn't have the budget for, because there were other things that were expensive that I needed to look into, right? So it's really rough. Things are rough. Gaming, people gravitate to free-to-play games because that's what it is. That's best for your pocket. And there are really good games that are free-to-play, that are under $20, that go on sale frequently, older games. If you want to play the game that is Fire Red, that's for $20. Hold on. Pokemon Fire Red. Tracking is an issue. Tracking is an issue where there's like a tracking program in the game. Issue. Like, that's what I read recently. PSA to players experiencing Fire Red and Leaf Green. Your game isn't glitched. There are a number of people who haven't played classic Pokemon game before. Just to let you know, the screen shaking is perfectly normal. Your Pokemon is just poisoned. What? Okay, but that's what I heard, right? Wasn't there like a whole thing where like it's will be compatible with Pokemon Home? Huh. Huh. You know, maybe I was delusional. I might have made that up in my head, but I swear I thought I saw it on Twitter. But anyways, yeah, people are ultimately buying less games. They're not buying new games anymore. They are feeding the market for old and classic games, because like the poster said, they're lacking originality because everything is a Souls-like now, or a creature collector now, or a turn-based now. Games nowadays fall onto multiple umbrellas rather than pushing for novelty, like Expedition, like what is it? Yeah, Expedition is one of the most recent things that has pushed the envelope for RPG, but risk-averse development, creating for the lowest common denominator. Yeah, because again, like Expedition 33 as a Glazer, they made that game approachable at the price of $50 because they are a new studio and they want to appeal to the goodwill of the people, gain their trust, that they are then able to make better games going down the road. You can't just hit the ground running with a $70 game and hope people would buy into it. But that also means you can't just simply hit the ground running with a free-to-play game, because Highguard tried to go under the radar. Jeff Keighley was so enamored by it that, against their will, allegedly, he put it on the last slot of the Game Awards, and then news about the game was dead until like that arrived. So it's incredibly telling of how things happen to be that way. So that's funny in my opinion. But yeah, that's it.